It is the 31st century, and mankind is once again at war. The battlefields of the future are dominated by huge robotic war machines known as battlemechs. Piloting these awesome weapons of war are men and women, the elite of the elite, knowing that each battle could be their last. They are mech warriors.
Lieutenant, heavy laser fire.
Casualties. Medics are needed at position Fox. Mike,
This is ground command. Can you hold the line? See them now.
BattleTech. What is BattleTech? Well, BattleTech is a tabletop game. BattleTech was a poorly made cartoon show. Mech Warrior is a mech simulation of BattleTech, and yes, they do even have a BattleTech on PC. I like BattleTech. I like Mech. One of my favorite universes out there, one of the best lore, one of the best stories, some of the best books, you name it. I have Mech Warrior 2, I have Mech Warrior 3, I have Pirates Moon, I have Mech Warrior 4, I got Mech Warrior 2 Mercenaries, I got Ghost Bear Legacy, I've got Mech Assault 1 and 2, I've got Mech Commander. Pretty much have it all. And it's definitely a game I think more people should play. Definitely a franchise I think more people should experience. And 100% definitely think it's something that Microsoft should do more with, especially since Microsoft owns the IP. Now, the funny thing about BattleTech, MechWarrior, whatever you want to call it in this situation, is I find a lot of parallels between the BattleTech universe, YouTube, and the console war. We're talking about various factions, various partnerships, various friendships, various rivalries, various betrayals, various groups, you name it, it exists in BattleTech. So how the BattleTech universe works is simple. It's a little segment pocket of the universe. It's called the Inner Sphere. And this is pretty much where war is waged among the various factions in the BattleTech universe, depending on what time period or era you're in. There's tons of time periods, tons of eras. I prefer the pre-clan era, but I digress. I mean, if I were to go through all the time periods and eras, we'd be here all night, into next week, into next month, probably into next year. That's how in-depth and deep it is. But for this video, we're going to go with the original factions, or not the original factions, but the current factions in the MechWarrior 5 game, which isn't even close to the end of the timeline. It's more so in the middle, but one of the more popular areas. We've got House Steiner, the Lyron Commonwealth. And they're blue, so we'll say they're Sony. And you got House Carita, the Draconis Combine. We'll say they're Nintendo, they're red. You got House Merrick, the Free Worlds League. I mean, they're free worlds, they're a league. We can call them the PC guys. You got House Lao, they're kind of small, but the Capellan Federation, they're green, so we can call them Xbox. And we got House Davion. We'll give them the Federated Sons. We'll call them Mobile. Not everything is equal, but work with me here. So, war is waged through various means in the Inner Sphere, much similar to console wars. Except in the Inner Sphere, they don't use software and video games and consoles and things of that nature. They use giant mechanized killer robots that weigh anywhere from 25 to 100 tons. Essentially, walking Goliaths, giant bipedal Metal Gears that will F your day up. Literally. Not even joking. Literally. The universe of BattleTech is so warlike that we're talking about some machines that have existed in this franchise for over 100 years. Take your TI 89 or TI 83 calculator, multiply that by 4, and imagine it still being one of the most cutting edge killing machines imaginable and acquirable in war. Yeah, that's what it is. TI 83s, 100 years later, still stomping and destroying people. That's how the inner sphere works, because technology doesn't really advance far because everybody is just destroying and killing each other. So, like the console war, we have multiple facets in which war is waged. Technology. Who has the best technology? Who has the fastest console, the strongest console, the most efficient console, the most innovative console? Between the companies who can adapt and copy and steal the opposition. Except in BattleTech, it's who has the fastest mechs, who has the strongest mechs, who have the most efficient mechs, who have the most innovative mechs, what mechs can adapt the fastest, who can copy enemy technology, who can steal enemy technology. And much like console wars, we have infrastructure, supply lines, services, how fast you can get quickly to planet deploy, or in console spaces, how many units can you ship to a store? What is your online network? How are your services? What is your development and R&D? Development and R&D in the console settings is, research and development on a new console, on a new machine, on a new game. In BattleTech, it's pretty much development, research, and development on massively large murder machines. And then, like video games, there are mercenaries. You can buy out a company, you can buy off a company, you can merge with a company, you can partner with the company, you can make a exclusive deal with the company. Just like in BattleTech, you can have a hired gun. You can have hired guns as in plural. You can collaborate between different corporations, different companies. You can get exclusive rights to mechs. You can get exclusive rights to weaponry. You can buy out facilities. You can acquire facilities. You can acquire and patent mechs and technologies and machines of war any way you like it, because the almighty C-bill goes a very long way. Whereas the console wars are, fought through machines and games, the factions in BattleTech, there are machines and there are games thanks to Space AT&T Comstar, but mainly these 5 factions, they're going to wage war through battle mechs and ever-changing technology. So I kind of view BattleTech like the ever-changing console war, multiple factions constantly at war with constant competition, constant gaining, constant losing, different generations, gain territory, lost territory, acquiring more assets, further to drive their own individual or cooperative war efforts. Like Sony and Nintendo, before they decided they hated each other. And then the PlayStation 1 was made. Then the PlayStation 1 destroyed everything. And ironically, I think the map of the Inner Sphere is a pretty good representation of what's going on today. So we have Nintendo and Sony, which are pretty much on equal footing battling it out. You have Microsoft, which is a much smaller territory in comparison, but still relevant. And then you have mobile. It's just this large entity all the way out there on its own. It's not really threatening, but it's large and it exists. But what about PC gaming? Why does it look so small? Why does it look so small? PC gaming should be big. It should be large. It should be dominating, right? I'm glad you asked. So, war in the Inner Sphere, it's been going on forever. You thought the console wars between these companies was going on long. You thought the console wars on YouTube, Twitter, GameSpot, System Wars, or web forums, wherever, the bus, school, the lunchroom, you thought these wars were going on long. War in the Inner Sphere has been going on forever. The culture of the Inner Sphere is pretty much war. These people have been battling it out for, I guess at this point in time, 300 years, with different factions coming and going. I mean, you had Sega, you had Atari, you had Stadia, you had Panasonic, you had the 3DO. Things come, things go. Factions come, factions go. Technology comes, technology goes. I mean, look at the cell processor. But back to the PC side of things. The reason why the PC representation, the Free World League, is so small, in my opinion, in the BattleTech universe is because, like the real world, the PC faction, they got tired of the console wars. They got tired. They got tired of fanboys going back and forth. They got tired of constant fighting, bickering, pettiness. They just got tired. So, after 100 years or so of fighting, they just said, you know what? We're out of here. So a portion of the PC gamers, they just got up and left. They just said, we are getting out of the Inner We are leaving entirely. But like PC gamers, something happened when they left. Something, amazing, but also not so amazing. See, they left, and when they left, there were no more console wars in their vicinity. And without any console wars and without being surrounded by turmoil and war and just utter stupidity, they created new culture. They created new advanced technologies. They created a religion. They created honor codes. They had ranks and organizations and social designations. This is what BattleTech calls the clans, and what I call the PC Master Race. See, like the PC Master Race, the clans believe themselves to be superior. Physically, intellectually, socially, financially, they just feel that they are better than you. And truthfully speaking, they are. So the clans left, or the PC people left, they formed the Master Race, they formed the clans, but then guess what happened? They got bored. Much like PC gamers in this community did. They got bored, sitting on the sidelines talking about their ever-growing technology and their top-down games and their MMOs and their point-and-click adventures. They got bored. So what do bored people do in the real world? What do bored people do in life? They start shit. Oh yeah. They start shit. And what did the clans do? Oh yeah, they started some bullshit. See, the clans thought that they were too superior, so they said, you know what? We're going to come back to the Inner Sphere and we're going to remake it in our own world. Just how like PC gamers want to refer people to as welfare gamers and peasants and all kinds of weird, obnoxious terms, that is exactly what the clans did. Well, the clans came back 200 years later. The PC Master Race came back to conquer the Inner Sphere with the most advanced and sophisticated technology imaginable. And the welfare technology of the Inner Sphere, well, guess what? It was no match. No match at all. Sure, the clans, they were lesser in number, but when you're rolling around with the equivalent of RTX 3080s and you're about to come out with 3090s, comparing that to the lowly welfare consoles of the Switch, cell phones, the Series S, even the best of what the Inner Sphere had in the Series X and the PlayStation 5, they just pale in comparison. So, the obvious happened. PC gamers, the Master Race, came in like a gigantic blitzkrieg, and they just started raffle stomping everybody and everything in their damn path. And you had console gamers in disbelief. Oh, PC gamers don't do that. They're not a part of the console war. Oh, they don't bother us. Until they did. And then they came in and they fucked everybody up. No warning. No advanced notice. They just came in and, like YouTube, interjected themselves into every argument. You have a PlayStation comparing themselves to an Xbox, and what happened? Oh, look, there's the PC guys right there. You have Nintendo comparing, oh, look, the PC guys there. You have comparison of which game runs better. Oh, there goes those PC guys right there. The PC guys, the clans, they just can't leave well enough alone. Or so it would seem. So while the clans had superior technology and hardware, they were fewer in number. But much like how we see multiple PC gaming factions today that don't get along today, the same could be said about the clans. See, the clans don't get along, much like the PC master race. There's constant infighting, politics, hypocrisy, superiority complexes, gatekeeping, much like how PC gamers can't get their minds around ulterior launchers, 40 frames on a Steam Deck, PlayStation games on a PC. Oh yeah, clans did not like when other clans tried to adapt Inner Sphere technology, aka Sony games on PC, because we don't touch welfare until clans are allowed to touch welfare. So it all sounds exactly like your PC social reject of 2020, doesn't it? But the clans had other problems in their war with the Inner Sphere. Sure, technological superiority is good, but what good is it if you can't get it? If you can't acquire it? Think about PC hardware shortages we had in the last couple years, like GPUs, CPUs, massively inflated prices of RAM, power supplies, cases, monitors, you name it. You can't fight a war if you've got nothing to fight with. You can't fight a war if you can't acquire machines. So this is where the story diverges a little bit to its conclusion. See, the welfare console contingent, aka the Inner Sphere, they just got tired of the PC master race. They got tired of getting beat up. They got tired of these dudes prancing around with their 30 series cards, their 3080s, their 3090s, their 30 Ti's, calling them welfare, calling them trash, saying that they don't run with the newest DLSS or having the newest ray tracing. The Inner Sphere, the console peasants, they just said, you know what? F it. Screw it. I hate you. You hate me. But we're going to activate crossplay and we're going to team up against the master race. We're going to team up against the clans. Well, the master race wasn't prepared for that. They were prepared to systematically insert themselves into every conflict and just win. But the Inner Sphere isn't that easy. See, there's a thing about welfare gamers and peasants that most people don't understand. When you're a bum on the street, you don't have nothing to lose. You know nothing outside of war. You know nothing outside of fighting. And if there's anything you know about a console gamer or a console fanboy, is they are loyal to a fault. They are born and bred in these trenches from a poverty line up until they're old enough to ascend to the clans themselves. So the welfare console gamers, they all band together and they took the fight to the PC master race. Now, there's a little back and forth. It's going. It's teetering and tottering. But, clans are getting frustrated that, the Inner Sphere people don't want to just buy into their religion. Don't want to buy into their social class. Why doesn't everybody just want a PC game? Why doesn't everybody want to be master race? They can't understand why console gamers just don't want to submit and convert. They don't get it. So eventually the console gamers issued a challenge, and those master race clanners, they just can't resist a good challenge. So it became a game of winner takes all. Winner takes all Loser goes home. And as usual, the overconfident clans took this fight not realizing just how rabid console fanboys in the Inner Sphere can actually be. And not only that, but how numerous fanboys are in the Inner Sphere. See, clanners and PC gamers, they fight on a more, let's say, cerebral level, tactical level. They look for small, minute differences in hypocrisy, ideology, and they attack. Problem is, there's no honor in the Inner Sphere. There is no honor in console wars. You know how problems are handled in the Inner Sphere in BattleTech? The same way they are in the console war. A meat grinder. You simply throw as many bodies at the problem until the problem goes away. And that's exactly what the Inner Sphere did to the clans. They threw bodies at the problem. They just threw bodies after bodies after bodies and stacked bodies after bodies after bodies until the clans had no more bodies to fight back with. So, eventually in a war of attrition, with the clans defeated, they were forced to retreat back into clan space. As the story of MechWarrior 2 goes, and the funny thing is, MechWarrior 2, it's actually what's happening right now. You had two clans that came to blows after the defeat from the Inner Sphere over two different ideologies, and they called that the Refusal War. Two clans, one called Clan Wolf, who just said, we're done with the pettiness of the console war. Just let them be. We're moving on. We don't care. We can be self-sufficient. You know, we can build up our own selves. We don't need to be involved with them. Let's worry about ourselves. And yet another PC clan, the Master Race clan, Jade Falcon, who was like, nah, it ain't going down like that. They wanted to go back to the Inner Sphere via shirtless Saturday night salt streams and antagonize the Inner Sphere all over again. Sound familiar, doesn't it? Yeah, because we're kind of at that Refusal War point right now. So essentially, PC gamers with an actual brain, Clan Wolf, versus social reject outcasts with no brain in real life, Clan Jade Falcon. And clan laws dictate and state that might equals right. And that conflict still exists today, as continuing fighting does also in the Inner Sphere. I forgot who won the Refusal War. I believe it was Clan Wolf, but I'm not sure. I don't really remember. I gotta play the games and read the books. But that's the parallels I get from the BattleTech universe, video games of the console war, and I kind of want to do other video game series that draw parallels to this, because I really enjoy the BattleTech universe. I thought it had some interesting parallels to this whole YouTube thing. So from the books to the table talk game to MechWarrior, definitely check out the Black Pants Legion. You know, Tech Talks. He makes some absolutely insane BattleTech videos, which I find just incredible. But BattleTech has a lot to offer, despite Microsoft literally doing nothing with the IP, and they own it, so it has so much lore. It makes Game of Thrones and Star Wars look childish and simplistic, but unfortunately, Microsoft will keep spending money but never actually create anything with it. All in all, like the console wars, or maybe not like the console wars, if you're curious about what BattleTech is, people die in BattleTech. People die often. If you don't like someone, you nuke them. You can nuke them so much that they have to make rules to ban you from nuking people that you hate. Unless you're up against the Black Watch. You can't nuke the Black Watch. I mean, you can, but it's not really going to do anything because, you know, you can try, but somehow the Black Watch will survive. Just, you know, to haunt your complete existence and hunt you and everyone you know down in cold blood till, you know, everybody you know, your whole genetic line, every friend, family member, business partner, corporation, everybody ever connected to you until they are all erased from existence. Because in the end of the sphere, people don't forgive. And they sure as hell definitely don't forget. I'm Black Bond. Y'all enjoy your week. Undefeated of the East. Master Bond. Philadelphia Eagles 5-0. Let's go. We don't like them Cowboys here. Catch you guys next time. Take it easy.